Hello, how are y'all doing today? My name is Bernie Thompson, and today we're here to take a look at this 1982 Chevrolet Corvette with a 350 Crossfire engine. And let me tell you guys, I worked on a lot of these Crossfire engines in this car's day. But I haven't worked on a Crossfire in a long time, and what's even crazier is we're not here to look at a drivability problem on this Vette. We're here to clean the engine out. So what's going on with this car is it came in running really bad, and the valve covers leaked oil heavily onto the spark plug wires, and it's ruined all the wires. So the technician has replaced the wires, and he pulled the valve covers to replace the gaskets, and the inside of this engine is all carboned up. Apparently this is a little old lady's car, and she never changes her oil. So I told him that's not going to be a problem. We're going to clean this with my product, 505 CRO. So let's go ahead and take a look at this and see how carboned up this engine is. Okay, this is the Corvette 350 Crossfire engine. The valve cover is off. We can see it's just like the technician was saying. It's really dirty up on the top. And if it's this dirty up in the top, guys, it's worse inside the engine. So let's see what kind of sludge is really in here. Let me dig some out on my screwdriver here. Okay, there you go, guys. That thing is nasty. But we're going to clean this engine all up for this little old lady. In order to clean the carbon and sludge out of this Vette, we're going to need to use 505 carbon remover oil. Now, this is a specially formulated product that will solubilize the carbon and sludge out of this engine. Okay, so we're going to pour this 505, just pour it right into the engine. And this isn't going to hurt anything. If it gets on the paint or any of the wires or anything else, it's not going to hurt anything. The only thing this hurts is carbon and sludge. It solubilizes and removes it. So we're going to start this car up. And now you want to hold it up at about 2,000 RPM for 20 minutes. Okay, it's been 20 minutes now, so we're ready to see what it's going to do. Okay, so we're back over looking at the Vette. They've run it with the 505 CRO in here. So first off, the shop is really excited because we fixed a lifter tick apparently. Apparently this motor had a lifter tick it doesn't have now. And we've looked, let's go ahead and scrape down there. So we're going to scrape. We saw how much came out before. Now look, there's not any. So we'll scrape a couple of places up here. Before there was nothing but just like tar up here. That's all clean. Okay, so we've dissolved or solubilized all that heavy stuff, and we can see how dark the oil is in the rockers. And that's because we just got done running this engine and pulled it apart. All that heavy carbon got solubilized into the oil, so the oil is very dark. So when we put new oil in this, these will look really clean, but for sure all the heavy deposits that were baked into the bottom of the head are gone. It definitely cleaned it really, really good, and we got rid of a lifter tick. But after you've treated one of these motors, you absolutely have to change the oil and the filter. So okay guys, the shop has put the valve cover back on the engine, resealed it, changed the oil, changed the filter, and this vehicle is ready to return to the customer minus a lot of sludge and a lifter tick. Now, we all know that this engine was just flat abused. The engine oil wasn't changed enough, or it wasn't changed at all. That's obvious by the amount of sludge and carbon in this engine. But even though this vehicle was abused, the 505 CRO was powerful enough to totally solubilize all of that sludge and carbon and remove it and fix a lifter tick while we clean the engine. Now, this product is really good for cleaning carbon. It was really designed for modern vehicles where the oil ring is low tension piston rings, and the oil rings can get stuck into the pistons due to the carbon. And the modern oil does not have enough detergency to actually solubilize or remove that kind of carbon. So once the piston ring gets stuck, it'll start to use oil because it's no longer properly scraping the oil and making a seal between the rings and the cylinder wall. Once you run the 505 CRO, it will solubilize that carbon out of the rings, and it will free the rings, and now the ring will come out and it will properly scrape the oil, and it will get a better seal between the piston ring and the cylinder wall, which will give you less oil usage and more power because you'll have more compression. So this product's pretty amazing. It also works wonders on timing chains and tensioners. I've fixed a bunch of phasers and phaser actuators with this, where carbon's got into the phaser and it starts sticking it, and you'll set codes, intermittent codes. I've treated many engines with a 505 CRO, and I have fixed many phasers because carbon gets in there and the phaser can't move free. And we're talking, the computer's looking at just several degrees of timing, and if it can't hit the target, it sets a code. Well, if carbon's in there where it can't move smoothly, it can't return quick enough, so it sets codes. The 505 CRO product, as you can see on this car, it cleaned this engine. Well, it can clean your engines and your customers' engines too. Don't you want to use a product that really works? When you use the 505 CRO in your bays, you too will have success with these type of problems.